At the time, I was working in Deloitte Consulting, and I primarily worked with the CFO strategy group. Also worked with the mergers and acquisitions group, and I worked on a lot of technology implementations. And I fulfilled the role of a product manager on those projects. So writing user stories and functional specifications and all these documents that got sent off to software engineers to actually build fintech products. So I was developing that skill set at Deloitte, and I actually had a friend who he got laid off from Deloitte, and I wanted to do everything in my power to help him secure his next opportunity. And so I literally made a post on LinkedIn, reaching out to my network, asking for support to help me help him. And because of that, we landed him three interviews, and it turned into three full-time offers. Well, in the process of trying to help him, I was looking online and I found a role at Microsoft that really interested me. And so I wasn't intending to leave Deloitte, but that role was interesting. Microsoft felt like a great opportunity to work for an impactful company, and also for me to grow personally as a leader. And so I applied for the role, and good fortune was on my side. I like to think it was because I found this opportunity in the midst of helping someone else. And maybe a month after I applied, a recruiter reached out to me and asked me if I would interview, and the rest was history. And so joining Microsoft, I started off in finance in the devices business unit. So monthly close and forecast cycles, helping plan for the fixed assets that are used to build Microsoft's laptops and Xboxes and the accessories that are associated with those products. And one thing that I did in my first role at Microsoft was volunteer for different projects. And volunteering for these different projects, it does a few things. It gives you access to a new network. So you meet new team members, you get to build relationships with them and become familiar with their teams and how they operate. You get to learn their processes, and you just become smarter on the company that you're working for as a whole. And so I volunteered for these projects, and it helped me that way. But it also gave me exposure to leaders in other areas of the business. So several projects that I worked on outside of the scope of my work, internal control testing. I worked on tax assessments. I helped the external reporting team review and prepare the quarterly 10Q that gets reported to the SEC. And so these are experiences that I gained just volunteering to help. And one of these projects led to my current role, where I now manage about $2 billion worth of spend related to the headcount that is responsible for growing Microsoft's AI business, as well as the broader growth strategy. And so analyzing the market and bringing these insights back into Microsoft to help shape and drive our strategy for growing the AI business. So that's my journey.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, which proves that helping others and going the extra miles or open doors. That's perfect. Um, your story is a story of resilience. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how much your early experiences um, contributed to that resilience that you kept?
Yep. So my upbringing was, it was a combination of good experiences, but also challenging experiences. The good experiences, although we didn't have a lot, we had a lot of love within my family. So I never felt like I went without love or people who cared for me. And I think that is a large part of why I was able to endure tough times and get to where I am. But on the challenging side of things, so we didn't have money at all. We moved pretty much every year. Our household included like 9 family members, and these houses were like 3 bedroom houses. I remember when I was in ninth grade, the house that we lived in, it didn't have like the wiring necessary to have lighting throughout the entire house. So the only rooms that had like lighting in the ceiling, so you can like flip the switch and turn on the light, was the 3 bedrooms. The living room had no light, so we had to light the room using like candles and like lamps that we bought. The dining room had no light. In the kitchen, if you move the refrigerator like 3 feet to the left, you can literally see there's a hole. You can literally see under the house. I remember my one of my siblings and my cousin, they shared a room that was actually the dining room that we converted into a bedroom. So I think it gives you some insight into my upbringing and kind of how I came up. Another pivotal moment was when I was 12 years old. My father, I actually lost him to gun violence on Labor Day of 2009, and
Sorry about that.
coincidentally, a couple of nights before he passed, we were outside, just me and him. We were talking, and he made me promise that I would make better choices in my life than he'd made, because my hometown is, is gangs and, a lot of things that you can fall into. And so he made me make that promise to him that I would strive to reach my full potential and build a life that's better than what he had created. And even though he passed away a few years later, it was extremely important for me to keep my word to him, even though he was no longer here. And so through some of those tough moments in college, when I was homeless and living in a motel, when I felt like I wanted to give up, I would always reflect and think about that promise that I made to him, that I would reach my full potential and that I would keep going. And so that was the love that I had from my family, my community, the people that believed in me, and that promise that I made to my father, and also just my relationship with God, were enough to help me overcome all of the circumstances and challenges that I had to face to get to where I am.
Oh, perfect, perfect. All the story proves that whatever the environment that you may be in, there's always a chance for you to go above all that and make something of yourself. And you had a lot of inspiration. You said your parents, you have the to even before death, you have parents telling you, even though they may be doing some stuff, this is the path to go, to follow. And you also at the mindset, the necessary mindset to follow the right path. And later during your career, you decided to go for tech and accounting. Was that an inspiration from someone, a mentor, or you just had the desire to go for these two different paths?
So I developed an entrepreneurial mindset. I think I was born with an entrepreneurial spirit, but my grandmother definitely nurtured it. So I grew up going to work with her on a farm where her job was to raise goats. And so I would go with her. I think I started going when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and throughout my childhood on like Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. to help her feed the goats, clean their pens, put out hay. So she really taught me hard work, and she worked on that farm for over 30 years, and she saw a problem one day. There was a lot of milk going to waste, and so she bought a book and she taught herself how to make ice cream and organic goat's milk soap, and she even branched out into making cheese and lotion, organic